Baku Shalom, Baku Shalom. Today I want to talk about Matthew chapter 23, which Yahushua is speaking to the scribes and the Pharisees. And, today we have a lot of scribes and Pharisees going around, whether it's in the Christian sect or in the Hebrew Israelite section. It could be people that have their church congregations, mega pastors or mega preachers, whatever you want to call them, your Hebrew Israelite camps, and also individuals that have a following. You know what I'm saying? Like on YouTube and everything, that have a following behind them, and we have to be careful that we do not become like the scribes and Pharisees of old, back in Yahushua's days. So let me go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start off with Matthew 23 verses 1 through 7, and when you see the numbers, the verse numbers highlighted in red, I'm gonna go in further detail with those certain verses. Okay, excuse me. All right. Then Yahushua spoke to the crowds and to his taught ones, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore, whatever they say to you to guard, guard and do, but do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind heavy burdens hard to bear, and lay them on men's shoulders. But with their finger they do not wish to move them, and they do all their works to be seen by men. And they make their tefillin wide, and lengthen the tzitzit of their garments, and they love the best place at feast, and the best seats in the congregations, and the greetings in the marketplaces, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. Okay, so this is basically self-explanatory. Um, you know, Yahushua talk about how the people who sits in Moshe's seat, these are the so-called leaders of these different set of different set of Bible believers, whether it's of the Christian branch or if it's of the Hebrew branch. These are the people they're talking to. All right, and these people that want to be called teachers or pastor or generals or captain or whatever, bishop. These are the people that he's talking about. Because we see, a lot of these Christian ministers or pastors dressed up in these fancy robes and everything, and looking all proud and high-minded, and we see a lot of these guys in the Hebrew Israelite camps that's dressed in all this garb, as being loud and boastful, and they like to be out there and just to be seen, you know, just to be seen so they can be called a certain thing, and they love it, and we have to beware of that. All right, we had to beware of our own pride. We had to beware of trying to look a certain way so people can speak about us, basically overdoing what we look like, you know what I'm saying? um, so I'm gonna go ahead and focus on verse 3 next. All right, this is in relation to Matthew 23:3. Therefore, whatever they say to you to guard, guard and do, but do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. All right, so let's go to Matthew 15 verses 1 through 9, and this should describe um, Matthew 23:3. Then there came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem, saying, why do your taught ones transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. But he answering said to them, why do you also transgress the command of Elohim because of your tradition? For Elohim has commanded, saying, respect your father and your mother. He who curses father or mother let him be put to death. But you say, whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me has been dedicated, is certainly released from respecting his father or mother. So you have nullified the command of alluring him by your tradition. Hypocrites! Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, this people draw near to me with their mouth, and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. All right, so a lot of back in the day, a lot of these scribes and Pharisees, they added their own rules and laws uh, to the already laws given to Moses from the Most High. And a lot of these laws and rules that they put forth is not from the Most High. It's like the Talmud. It's extra laws added on to them. You know what I'm saying? So that will made stuff burdensome because there's extra things that y'all didn't put on there that they added. You know, and they really do not follow the law of the Most High because they are like I said, nullifying it because they're putting their own twist to it, their own words to it, and expect people to listen to them and follow what they're saying like they wrote the law, which they didn't. All right, and this is basically what it's saying, and also that again he says a lot of these people they draw near to him with their mouth and respect him with their mouth, with their lips and their heart, but they do not truly worship him for real. Because they teach the commands of men. They teach their own teachings, and a lot of us have to watch out for teaching our own teachings and teaching what we feel as fact. It's all right to tell them what we feel, but um, when we talking about fact, we need to come straight from the word and say what the word says, not what we think, and not add on to it. All right, or take away from. Excuse me, or take away from it. Um, like it says in the Bible, we're not supposed to add to or take away from the word. So, yes, we have to watch out because, Yahushua calls us hypocrites for doing that, you know. So, next is in relation to Matthew 23:4. For they bind heavy burdens hard to bear, and they lay them on men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not wish to move them. All right, so I looked into this and I went and checked out Albert Barnes' notes on the Bible, and it went on to say the Pharisees were rigid in requiring that all the people should pay the taxes, give of their property, comply with every part of the law under the utmost rigor, yet indulge themselves and bore as little of the expense and trouble as possible, so that where they could avoid it, they would not lend the least aid to the people in the toils and expense of their religious rites. All right, and you can look at this as far as tithing, and I even heard some of the Hebrew Israelite camps speaking about uh, they should be giving money also, and and many of them do not give back. A lot of these Christian leaders do not give back. They take the money and they indulge on themselves. You know, they indulge on themselves while placing these burdens on everybody else. Where you got these broke people that's giving their money that they could pay their bills with to these leaders. You know what I'm saying? And these leaders are really not doing nothing but getting fancy cars, getting airplanes, and all this and that. And that is not a good thing to do. You should be fair. We all should be fair, and we shouldn't put burdens on people, especially if it's not of the Most High, if it's not of the Word, especially if it's our own tradition that we try to put on people to take advantage of people or to have them in a slave state of mind so we can have control over them. All right. All right. Now I'm going to read Matthew 23:8-12. Excuse me, I'm not feeling too well today, but I'm going to press on. But you, do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, the Messiah, and you all are brothers. And do not call anyone on earth your father, for one is your father, he who is in the heavens, or the Shemayim. Neither be called leaders, for one is your leader, the Messiah. The greatest among you shall be your servant, and whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exhausted. All right, so um, again, Christian people, Hebrew Israelites, you know, people that's in the truth, that follow the way, you know. Um, it says right here, do not be called rabbi, do not be called teacher, because only one is your teacher, and that is who? The Messiah, Yahushua. All right. Do not call anybody on, that's telling the other people, the congregation, the people, the followers, that do not call anybody on earth your father, because you only have one father, which is your heavenly father, Yahuwah. All right. So, and this is a warning, and Yah's telling people in these next verses, you know what I'm saying? The greatest among you shall be your servant. All right. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. The head should be the tail, and the tail should be the head. And let's go look a little deeper into verse 12. All right. Matthew 23:12. And whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. And I have went through and I put a majority of verses. It's a lot of verses, but I'm going to go through them so people can understand what the Most High says about being exalted or being prideful. It talks about being humble and what it means and what it does. All right. So Psalms 138:6. Though Yahuwah is exalted, he looks on the humble, but the proud he perceives from a distance. All right. So Yahuwah, he looks at the humble. He is closer to the humble people than he is to the proud. He looks at them from a distance, meaning that he is far away from those proudful people. No matter how much religious they look, no matter how much word they claim they know, you know, he's far from them, because they have exalted themselves into a position that they're not supposed to be in. All right, we are supposed to be humble. Proverbs 15:33. The fear of Yahuwah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. All right, so fear of reverence of Yahuwah is wisdom. All right, that will give you wisdom. Following his word and his ways will give you wisdom. All right, and if you stay humble, you know, Yah will lift you up. He will give you esteem. All right. Now, Proverbs 16:18-19. Before destruction comes pride. All right. Before destruction comes pride. Now listen, you're a prideful person. You best know that destruction is going to come. All right. And before a fall, a haughty spirit. If you're haughty, you're going to fall. All right. And it goes on to say, excuse me, better to be lowly in spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. It is better. All right. It is self-explanatory. Proverbs 29:23. The pride of man brings him low. All right, prideful men and women, your pride will bring you low. But the humble in spirit obtains esteem. You know what I'm saying? Humble people will be esteemed by the Most High, and they be esteemed by other people too. They don't have to exalt themselves to a position, because other people will esteem them. All right. Now we go to Luke 1:51-52. He did mightily with his arm. He scattered the proud in the thought of their hearts. He brought down rulers from their thrones and exalted the lowly. He brought down the proud and he exalted the lowly. Like I was saying earlier. All right. Now, if we go over to Daniel chapter 4, verse 37, this is King Nebuchadnezzar speaking. And he says, "Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, am praising and exalting and esteeming the sovereign of the heavens, for all his works are true and his ways right, and those who walk in pride is able to be humble." And this is after Nebuchadnezzar was brought down low. This is after Yah made him walk on all fours like an animal and live in the wild like an animal. And when he came through, he realized that even though that he was king, even though he exalted himself to a place he shouldn't have, the Most High destroyed him, brought him down into a lowly state. You know. So, and he tells you, those who walk in pride, we have to watch ourselves walking in pride, because he will humble every last one of us, whether we want to be called bishop, pastor, general, captain, or whatever. All right. James 4 and 6, but he gives greater favor because of this. He says, Elohim resists the proud and gives favor to the humble. He resists the proud, but gives favor to the humble. It is better to be humble than to be proud. It is better to be humble than to be exalted, or for you to exalt yourself. For real. So now let's go on to Matthew 23, 13 through 15. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut up the rain of the heavens before men, for you do not go in, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. Because of this you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you go about the land and the sea to win one convert, and when he is won, you make him a son of Gehenna, twofold more than yourselves. And for those who don't know what Gehenna is it means hell. It's a Greek word for hell. All right. Excuse me. All right. So a lot of these so-called biblical teachers, whether it's from the Christian sect or the Hebrew Israelite sect, they would teach a person in a way where they will not make it to the kingdom. Some would say, oh, the law was done away with. All of this is faith. And other people would say that it's just about the law. When you have to understand the two, a lot of these, especially a lot of these camps, they would go out and they would teach people, and they would turn these people bitter like themselves, and they would be out on these streets cussing people out, talking about things that doesn't really matter, when what needs to be taught is salvation, all right, through faith and works, faith in the Messiah, belief in the Messiah, and doing good works, following the law, and understanding that understanding that the penalty of the law is taken away right now through grace, through the Most High Son's Yahushua. All right, but we have to watch out, because we can, make people a citizen of hell. And guess what? The blood will be on our hands for doing that, for not rightly dividing the word of the Most High and rightly teaching it. And as you can see on some of these pictures, you got these proud looking Christians, and you see the Hebrew Israelite brothers. One guy got this mean scowl on his face and everything. That's not how y'all want us to be. He want us to be humble, but he want us to also be graceful, and he said, because we do this, because if we lead somebody away from the truth or bring them in the truth in the wrong way, which have them acting, um, you know, acting in a different type of way. As far as I guess some people say God-like or not walking in the way that the Messiah walks. You know what I'm saying? You will receive a greater judgment. All right, you will receive a greater judgment if we teach in that way. You know, having people with bad attitudes. You know, not having a soft a tongue, not giving a soft answer, not lashing out in rage or in lashing out on wrath. You know, so we have to really be careful of that because we will get a great punishment for doing that. Now, next, I'm gonna go into looking at Matthew 13:14. I mean 23:14. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses, and for the show make and for a show make long prayers. And I forgot to let me talk about the long prayers first. Now, this is the thing that I do see the Christian sect doing, because they sure do make a lot of long prayers and putting a lot of elaborate words, and and they think that the Most High uh, honors that type of prayer more than a short and honest prayer. And I remember being in the Christian church, and the deaconess or deacon is I'm not preaching but praying, and they say, oh, the omniscient and all, you know what I'm saying? And that's just for a show. 'Cause oh, that person can pray, but praying is for that person to talk to the Most High. It ain't about being a show. People praying in the church and everything, and they was, oh yeah, all right. But praying is the communication between yourself and the Most High. And these long prayers is for show. All right, they are for show. So anyway, let me continue on. Josephus says that this sect pretended to a more exact knowledge of the law, on which account the women were subject to them, as pretending to be dear to the Most High. All right, we can see that on both sides, and we have to watch out how we treat our women. Because we supposed to treat our women with respect. We supposed to love our women like the Messiah loved the church. And a lot of us out here tend to disrespect women. And I've seen a lot of quote unquote people in the truth, Hebrew, calling women bees and hoes and stuff like that. And, tearing up women for wearing pants. And a lot of these women don't, it's not even on that level to understand what you're talking about, what you're trying to talk about. And the thing about the pants is up in the air for me anyway, because I know I'm not fit to wear no pants made for no females. But anyway, we have to watch the way we treat our women, because we are held accountable and we're supposed to treat people nicely. All right, so in the Albert Barnes notes on the Bible, devour widows' houses. The word houses is used here to denote property or possessions of any kind. You take away or get possessions of the property of widows by improper arts and pretenses. This is done in two ways. They claim a very exact knowledge of the law and a perfect observance of it. They pretended to extraordinary justice towards the poor, friendship for the distressed, and willingness to aid those who were in embarrassed circumstances. They thus induced widows and poor people to commit the management of their property to them as guardians and executors, and then took advantage of them and defrauded them. They put on the appearance of great sanctity. They put on the appearance of great sanctity and induced many conscientious, I said that wrong, but credulous women to give them much under pretense of devoting it to religious purposes. That's pretty much self-explanatory. All right, and it's done in all sects of where people say they follow the Most High, where people say they'll believe in the Word. All right, but let's see what the Bible says. The Scripture says in Exodus 22, verses 22 through 24. It says, "Do not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them at all, if they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry, and my wrath shall burn, and I shall kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless." All right, and they're not really. They more want to say woman ain't supposed to talk, woman ain't supposed to do this, woman ain't supposed to do that, but you are afflicting them, and by the grace of the Messiah from his sacrifice, Yah's wrath has not burned yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about grace. But after the grace period is over, what you see here in Exodus 22, 22 through 24, this is what happened. You know, he said, "His wrath shall burn, and he shall kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless." He's going to take you away from your wife. He's going to leave your children fatherless because you afflict widows, fatherless, or fatherless children. You know? And the word I messed up was conscientious, so I'm sorry. That was bugging me, but yeah. But anyway, when we out here trying to quote unquote teach the word, we need to, like people say, do it precept by precept, line by line, precept by precept by precept. And that's how we should do it. All right. We're pushing people away with the way we are doing, especially these camps. You know, Christianity, they do a much better job of drawing people in, even though they're not teaching the whole entire truth. All right, but it's a lot of the camps that is disrespecting women, and it's the people that got that camp mentality that is disrespecting women. You know, and not understanding that we should respect and honor our women also, because things could come back on us, like the Most High says, and it will come back on us. All right, Matthew 23, 16 through 22. "Woe to you, blind guides, who say, 'Whoever swears by the dwelling place, it does not matter. But whoever swears by the gold of the dwelling place is bound by oath.' Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gold or the dwelling place that sets the gold apart? Whoever swears by the slaughter place, it does not matter. But whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the slaughter place that sets the gift apart? He then who swears by the slaughter place swears by it and by all that is upon it. And he who swears by the dwelling place swears by it and by him who is dwelling in it. And he who swears by the heaven swears by the throne of Elohim and by him who is sitting upon it." All right, so to me, this is just looking at, this is for greedy people. You know what I'm saying? This is for greedy people, and this is about oaths, in which we're not supposed to be doing oaths anyway. So it looks like that people really want that money, like you see in the picture below. You know, people, they're more concerned with the money and the gifts. You know, and they say if you swear by the gold or the gift, you're bound by the oath. But the Most High said if you swear by the dwelling place or you swear by the slaughter place, you swear by everything in it, because it is the dwelling place. You know what I'm saying? Is greater than the gold. The dwelling place sets the gold apart, and the slaughter place sets the gift apart, and that's what's more important. But let's go on. All right. In relation to Matthew 23:16 through 22, Matthew 5:33 says again, you heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to Yahuwah. All right, so you shall not swear falsely, and basically, just swearing by the gold or by the gift, you are swearing falsely. All right, when you do your oath, you keep it. All right, um, don't fool and trick people. I'm not sure who does it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in that fall away that teaches so-called truth, teaches the Bible, makes oaths with people and breaks them. James 5:12. But above all, my brothers, do not swear either by the heaven or by the earth or with any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no be no, lest you fall into judgment. All right, if you're gonna do something for somebody, you don't have to swear. Don't swear. All right, and just do it. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you're not gonna do it, say you're not gonna do it. But don't lie. All right, don't lie. All right. So let's go on to the next. Matthew 23 through 27. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the Torah, the right ruling and the compassion and the belief. These need to be done. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. Blind guides, straining a gnat and swallowing a camel, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you clean the outside of the cup and dish, but the inside they are filled with plunder and unrighteousness. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, so that the outside of them becomes clean too. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly indeed look well, but inside are filled with dead men's bones and all uncleanliness. All right, this is basically self-explanatory. We see it in Christianity. We see it in the Hebrew movement and everything. On the outside, they looking clean. On the outside, they looking, all fresh or looking all Hebrewish and stuff. On the inside, they are rotten. All right, they are sinful people on the inside. They make their outer wear look like they're holy, make it look like they're set apart, make it look like they're righteous, but their insides are dirty. And we have to be careful of that. Like I was saying before, we have to stop trying to be so fancy, stop trying to look so Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? And make sure the inside of ourselves are clean. Because a lot of us out there still cussing and acting like we still out there running the streets and everything. Still got these bad, nasty attitudes. You got these Christian pastors out here acting like they so righteous, but they out there sleeping with other men's wives. They stealing your money. They not taking care of you. They looking righteous, but they're not on the inside. Now let's look at verse in relation to verse 23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the Torah, the right ruling and the compassion and the belief. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. Let's go to Matthew 9:13, and it says, "But go and learn what this means. I desire compassion and not offering." Matthew 22:37 through 40. And Yahushua said to him, "You shall love Yahuwah, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind. This is the first and great command. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets." All right? The Most High desire compassion and not offering. All right? Love the Most High with all your being, with all your might, and you love your neighbor as yourself. Stop treating people bad. All right? 1 Samuel 15:22. Then Samuel said, "Does Yahuwah delight in ascending offerings and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Look, to obey is better than a slaughtering. To heed is better than the fat of rams to heed. All right. Go and, like Yahushua said, go and learn what this means. I desire compassion and not offering. All right. Love the Most High with all your heart, with all your being and all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. On these commandments hang the Torah and the prophets. Huh? In Samuel it says that he uh likes you should obey him. He likes obedience over sacrifice. All right. Proverbs 21:3. To do righteousness and right ruling is more acceptable to Yahuwah than a slaughtering. So to be righteous and to have right ruling is more acceptable than the slaughtering. All right. That's what he's talking about, neglecting the weightier matters of the Torah. You know. All right. Jeremiah 22:15-16. Do you reign because you enclose yourself in cedar? Do you reign because you look good, because you look fancy? Did not your father eat and drink and do right ruling in righteousness? Then it was well with him. He defended the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well. Was this not known to me, declared Yahuwah? All right. This is self-explanatory. Hosea 6:6. For I delight in loving commitment and not slaughtering, and in the knowledge of Elohim more than ascending offerings. All right, he delight in the loving commitment and knowledge of him more than slaughterings. All right, there are things that are weightier in the law, weightier matters in the Torah. All right, and as far as people talking about women wearing pants or you cutting your beard or this or that, this is just for outward appearance. You know what I'm saying? And there's more weightier things. There are more weightier things like love and commitment, like being obedient, following the ways of the Most High, loving the Most High with everything, and loving your neighbor like yourself, being compassionate. You know what I'm saying? Your outward appearance means nothing if you have none of that other stuff inside of you. It means nothing if you follow all the laws to the T and you don't have compassion in you. All right, if you don't are truly obedient to the Most High. All right, if you truly do not have a loving commitment to Him. All right, Micah 6:8. He has declared to you, O man, what is good, and what does Yahuwah require of you but to do right, and to love loving commitment, and to walk humbly with your Elohim. And that word humble again. To walk humble, you also have to be humble. Your outward appearance does not mean anything. It does not mean anything if you follow the doggone law and you don't believe in His Son. It doesn't matter if you follow the law to the T and it's not humble, and that you don't have a love of commitment, and if you're not obedient to the Most High. All right, if you follow the law and all that, but you've been out here rude and belligerent, what does that mean? It means nothing. You have to have belief and faith in the Messiah, and you have to follow the law. The law will be written on your heart. The Holy Spirit will guide you in all things, and will guide you in the law. You have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will have you fulfill the law. You know what I'm saying? But the law is not done away with again. But we're on our grace period. Also, there's more weightier things of the law. Instead of how we look. That's why slaughtering end up stinking in the Most High's nose after a while, because people would just commit sin and say, well, I'm like kind of how the Christians do. Oh, I can forgive them. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? They committed sin. They just went and sacrificed, and then went and sin, and then gave the sacrifices again. And He rather have obedience. All right. He'd rather for you to walk humble obedience and a loving commitment. All right. For real. All right, in relation to Matthew 23:24, blind guides, straining out a gnat. and swallowing the camel. When we go to Matthew 7 and 4 through 5, it says, "Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see a plank in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then shall you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eyes." This is self-explanatory. We have to be aware of that, of us chastising other people, of us trying to correct other people, and we might got some things on us that's even bigger than what we're trying to nitpick on people. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for a little something that this person being wrong with, but you got this whole, like straight out of that, but you got this whole big old thing that's wrong with you, this big plank or this big camel. You know what I'm saying? You swallowing this camel and you got this big plank in your eye, but you over here trying to chastise everybody else, and that should not be, because we all fall short of the glory of the Most High. We all sin. You know what I'm saying? None of us is perfect. All right? And we should not pretend that we're perfect and pretend that we're so righteous and trying to correct everybody when behind closed doors we're doing some dirt. All right, Matthew 23:28 through 32. "So you two outwardly indeed appear righteous to men. So you two outwardly indeed appear righteous to men. But inside you are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness." Again, and I just want people to hear this, all right? "So you two outwardly indeed appear righteous to men, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the righteous, and say, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the blood of the prophets. Thus you bear witness against yourself that you are sons of those who did murder the prophets, and you fill up the measure of your fathers." All right. Now again, Yahushua was talking about the outwardly appearance of the scribes and Pharisees. And he also was talking about the inside. It's like him clean the outside of the cup, or clean the outside of the cup, but the inside is still dirty. Yeah, a lot of us look good. We look right, like we're righteous, but inside we're filthy. You know what I'm saying? And he called us hypocrites. He would call us hypocrites. And we will persecute other righteous people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're not killing them, but we're persecuting other righteous people because they're teaching something different than we're teaching. You know what I'm saying? Or what you're teaching. All right? We spend a lot of our times here on YouTube debunking each other, cussing each other out, telling each other we're wrong, and then acting self-righteous in the process. And that's the worst thing that I have seen since I have came into the truth, is that we quote-unquote black folk, we quote-unquote Hebrews, are constantly battling each other, constantly calling each other names, you know what I'm saying? And that just proves that, like, if the Most High sends somebody, and we don't know who the Most High has sent, you know what I'm saying, really, but it could have been somebody the Most High sent that a lot of us persecuted. We talked trash, we tore them down, we called them false prophets, we called them this, we called them that. And we have to watch that, because you know why? We have to watch that because we have to make sure that we are not filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. We have to make sure that we are clean on the inside. You know what I'm saying? For real. It doesn't matter what we look like to other men, but like it says, the Most High reads the heart. And in your heart, you're murdering these prophets or these men of the Most High. In your heart, that's what you're doing. You might not be killing them literally, but you're persecuting them in your heart. All right, and we have to be more loving and understanding and be able to discuss things that we disagree with better. You know, like a lot of Christian ministers have been attacking people that have been in the truth. You know what I'm saying? They would talk trash like TD Jakes have. You know what I'm saying? Um, Persecuting these people. You know what I'm saying? He look all clean on the outside. He talk all heavenly, but on the inside, he's a hypocrite. You know, and we have to watch out for that. Even our, and I'm not trying to single out mega pastors and just the Hebrew camps because as individuals also that has a following, we can fall in that same category too. So this is just not a hit because I don't know all the camps out there, and I don't know all the uh, Christian ministers that's out there either. But I just know from what I saw, and I also see individuals fall in that category too. You know. All right, Matthew 23:33 to 36. Serpents, brood of adders, how would you escape the judgment of Gehenna because of this? See, I send you prophets and wise men and scholars of scripture, and some of them shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your congregations and persecute from city to city, so that on you should come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Hebel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Barakah, whom you murdered between the dwelling place and the slaughter place. Truly I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation. Now just hear this again. Hear this again. Some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your congregations and persecute from city to city, so that on you should come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Barakah, whom you murdered between the dwelling place and the slaughter place. So, a lot of people might not be killing and impaling people physically, but you are killing them and impaling them with your tongue, with your mouth, with your heart. You know what I'm saying? And it will be the blood of everybody that was killed, all righteous people that was killed, will be on your hands, and that's what it says here. You know, that's what it says here. And he also said that he sent you prophets and wise men and scholars of scripture. You know what I'm saying? I was speaking on that before, which is ironic because I was just speaking on that. You know, the Most High was send people, and you might not physically kill them, but you try to bring them down with your tongue. You know, you disrespect them, call them names, you know, acting unruly towards them, not having a decent conversation with them, you know, and, you make other people feel the same way about them, and then people, they will be lost because then they would not be listening to the man or the woman that the Most High sent. You know what I'm saying? Because you have poisoned their mind against these righteous people. You know what I'm saying? Because the righteous do get condemned. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful because the blood of the righteous will be, of all the righteous through time, will be on your hands. The people that were leading straight to hell, their blood will be on our hands. The righteous people we persecute, all blood from all persecuted righteous people, blood will be on our hands from all the righteous people. And this is a serious thing. This is a serious thing. You know, you don't want to be the serpents. You don't want to be the brood of adders. You know, we would not escape the judgment of hell, if we do this. No matter who we think we are. Whether we're a Christian, in Christianity, thinking we're going to go to glory, whether we are Hebrew or in the Hebrew camps and thinking we want to go to glory and we know it all, You know what I'm saying? But long as we are, uh, dissing these righteous people that are speaking truth, as long as we are trying to foul their name and bring them to a lowly stature, we will not make it into the kingdom. All right? All blood will be on our hands. All right? All blood will be on our hands. All right, Matthew 23:37 through 39. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to her. How often I wish to gather your children together, the way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. See, your house is left to you laid waste. And I say to you, from now on you shall by no means see me until you say, Blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Alright? Blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Alright, so, we just have to do better. We have to stop trying to look righteous and be righteous. Alright? We have to understand those things. We have to clean our insides and our outside. But our inside is the most important thing because, again, the Most High reads our heart. He knows our heart. He knows our thoughts. He knows our motives and everything. And He wants to gather us, But a lot of us, like they said here, would not. All right? So, with us being unrighteous on the inside, Yahuwah will leave our house to waste, or He will lay our house to waste. He will lay us to waste. All right? We would die the second death, and we had to be careful. We had to be humble. We can't exalt ourselves, We had to be humble and love the Most High with all our heart, all our mind, and all our being. And we must love our neighbor, We must obey the Most High. We must have love and commitment to Him and His ways, to His word, His law, to His Son, Yahushua, the Messiah. We had to pay attention to the heavier matters of the law. We do. We really do. We really do. So, in conclusion, we have to have real faith in the Son, the Messiah, Yahushua. Real faith in the Most High Yah, like Abraham had. All right? But we also had to have good works. Not just works, but good works. All right? Not to be seen of men. All right? But to be seen of the Most High. Because that's who we're trying to please. You understand what I'm saying? We're not trying to please man. All right? Because when we're trying to be seen of man, we are unrighteous. All right? When we're teaching the law is done away with, or we're teaching that salvation is not through the Messiah, or teaching that the Messiah is not real, that is not true salvation. If you're just teaching law only, that is not true salvation. Cause law only didn't do it for us, cause He got sick of our sacrifices to Him. He got sick of the blood of the rams and the blood of everything. He got sick of it. It stunk in His nose because we just, we gave the sacrifices to the priest, the Levites. But then we'll go back out and sin again, it just was back and forth all the time, and we didn't really mean it. So that's why He said He loved obedience over a slaughtering. All right, you have to have faith and belief in the Messiah. And thank the Most High for Him, for grace and mercy, for forgiveness of sins, But we also have to show good works, all right? We have to show good works. Yes, all things of the law doesn't apply to today. We can't do the feast days and the holy days correctly. and one reason we're not in the land. And this is what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Now I do know when they come around, and I do acknowledge them. I do have like a feast and things, but it's we can't sacrifice anything. There's no temple. We don't know where the Levites are at. We're not in the land. All right. We don't have to sacrifice anymore because there's one sacrifice for all man, which is Yahushua Hamashiach. You know, so we have to understand that looking looking the part doesn't mean you are being the part. You know, looking righteous and looking holy does not mean that you're righteous and holy or set apart on the inside. We must clean the inside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We must clean the inside of ourselves. All right, we must not do things for the praise of men. All right, we must have love and compassion. You know, you can't be out here cussing people out, lying to people, putting our own twist of things, making people slaves to us, you know. And that's one thing that I see that we fail at in this truth movement. People that believe that we are Hebrews, that we do not talk about salvation enough. We don't. We stuck on, you know, saying we Hebrews. We're stuck on the white man, saying he Esau, whoever you believe that he is. We're stuck on that. We're stuck on women wearing pants. We're stuck on fringes. We're stuck on all that, but we're not talking about true salvation through the Messiah. We are lacking that. It's barely videos in the truth talking about salvation. You know, it's a sad thing, and we need to get back to spreading the gospel. You know, not spreading hate, not spreading looking the part, but being the part. You know, but being the part. So I'm about to end this. You know, like I said, I wasn't not feeling too good today. I'm sorry for any mess up that I had, but hey, this is real. You know, this is just I didn't practice this. You know, but you know, I hope that y'all got something from it. You know, we have to watch out. Um, we have to watch out and not become scribes and Pharisees of old. You know, we have to watch out. We gotta watch out for our self-righteousness, thinking we know it all, chastising everybody, and not even having a decent conversation with people if we disagree with something. All right, we forget about salvation. All right, real faith in the Most High, real faith and belief in His Son, the Messiah, for the forgiveness of sins, for grace and mercy and good works. All right, obeying the Most High laws and commands, good works. Together is true salvation. All right, y'all take it easy. This is BG, RTB, Bakuf Shalom.